And joining me now to share her perspective from the House of Representatives and what she's hearing from her constituents in Vermont, Democratic Congresswoman Becca Balint. She's a member of the House Budget and Judiciary Committees. Congresswoman, as always, thank you for coming to the Sunday show. So just your reaction to the flip-flopping and tit-for-tat tariffs that we've seen over the last week, and this notion from Secretary Lutnick that, hey, no matter what you heard, more tariffs are going to be coming on electronics.
So look, this is asinine. It's not strategic. And as my colleague, Senator Welch said, it reveals the incompetence. And they don't want us to believe what we're seeing with our own eyes as we look at so many of the retirees across Vermont looking at the retirement accounts. They don't want us to see with our own eyes that everybody is not doing all right from this mess of a tariff plan. And the thing about it is impacting every single small business that I've talked to in Vermont in a negative way. And all of the states that border Canada, our economies are tied up with Canada, but also our relationships, longstanding relationships about where people are doing business, are attempting to be destroyed by this president for no legitimate reason. He claims it's about fentanyl. We know fentanyl isn't coming over the border, and he is shaking people down like a mob boss. And as Senator Welch said, which I agree with, it has become an access presidency. And of course, his friends, the billionaires who were sitting behind him at the inauguration, they're going to do just fine. And in fact, they made out like bandits this week because they bought low and sold high. And he, I believe, was involved in market manipulation. This is a disaster for working people.
Right. You've given me a lot of follow-up questions here, so I want to take the most immediate one first. The likelihood that there will be a congressional investigation looking into the president's social media posts saying, buy, now's the time to buy, and then seeing that people made goo gobs of money as a result of what happened during that.
Absolutely. So certainly we in the House are going to be pushing for this. I don't have a lot of faith in my Republican colleagues because they are certainly in the mode of bootlicking and apologizing for everything that, making excuses for what the president is doing right now. But we have to push this case. Gloves are off. We got to throw these punches and say this is the most corrupt presidential administration that anyone can remember in modern history. And this is part of it. The insider trading, the selling cars on the White House lawn, the complete and total use of his Doge, apparatus to line his own pockets. We see that with Elon Musk and who's getting the contracts and who isn't. So we have to push this with Speaker Johnson. He's not really, though. Speaker Johnson's not interested in looking at waste, fraud, and abuse. This is all just about demonizing and discrediting the branches of government that are and the agencies that are trying to have oversight over the programs that Americans rely on. So it's demonized, it's downsized, and it's always about privatizing, whether it's Medicaid or Social Security. They're not interested in ferreting out waste, fraud, and abuse.
Well, on that point, you brought up Speaker Johnson. I'm going to shift gears a little bit in the less than 2 minutes that we have, because Speaker Johnson was on Fox today. And I'm also asking you this because you are on the Budget Committee. Here's what the Speaker had to say about waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicaid. Listen to this.
There are a lot of Americans who rely upon those programs, and we've got to ensure that they're safeguarded. That's a big priority of the White House and the Republicans in Congress. At the same time, we have to root out fraud, waste, and abuse. We have to eliminate people on, for example, on Medicaid who are not actually eligible to be there.
Congresswoman, I bring that up because the budget resolution was passed. Now the hard part begins, negotiating a budget plan which will make the first Trump tax cuts permanent, go after more tax cuts. But then there are House Republicans who want $1.5 trillion in spending cuts. The only way you're going to reach that number is if you go after earned benefits, Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security.
Yes. Absolutely. They are trying to give a massive tax break to the very wealthy on the backs of working people. This is a complete and total betrayal of the middle class. And this nonsense about all the waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicaid when it comes to beneficiaries, it's negligible. It's 0.1% of claims that go through on convictions to recoup that money. 0.1% are on the beneficiary side. It is actually on the hospital side. It is on the part of, I'm looking at you, Rick Scott, hospital administrators, people who are in the business of making money from these programs. It is not the poor who are just trying to get primary care coverage. And I'm so sick of this administration using the poor and working people as the scapegoat for all of this. They are not worthy of this contempt that they continue to show for working people who just want to have a decent access to health care.